Hi, everyone, and welcome. This is Karen Newman. This is the Saturday Human Colony Hucolo webinar. It is Saturday, the 13th of November, 2021. And today, Jim is not able to join us. He's recovering from a cold, but he is perfectly fine. He just was still having a little bit of a cough, so he wanted to just sit this week out. But jumping in at the very last hour is our very good friend, Lou Martin from Cork, Ireland, stationed in Cork, Ireland, in a kitchen coming to you. So, hey, Lou, how are you doing?
Good, Karen. I'm happy to be here, honey. Thank you.
Yeah, we're happy to have you.
Thank you.
So who do we have with us today? I'll just say who's here in the room. We have, and more people are coming in. So we have Angie, Barbara, Bridget, Carol, Christine, Daniel, David, Elga, Joan, Scott, Stephanie, Susan, Susan, and David. David just came in. So hi, David. All right, perfect. And then hello to everyone in the YouTube chat. We'll be taking questions if you want to join us. Daniel in the YouTube says hi. So Lou.
Yeah.
We usually start with a blessing. And so who wanted to do a blessing today in the morning? First, Susan, Barbara, do you want to do a blessing? David, Barbara, Angie, do you want to do one now?
Yes, I'll do a blessing.
I can do one too. Yep.
Okay, Susan, Barbara, David. Why don't we do that, Angie? We'll get you at the end. Right. If there's anyone else that wanted to do one, please, we'll take you at the end. And Angie has an announcement.
Yes.
Awesome. Well, let's do the announcement after the blessings. Right. So, okay, Susan, we'll go Susan, David, Barbara, because you guys are on a triangle in my screen here. So, okay, go ahead, Susan.
Ke sikotoia ia si tukoia I sikotoia ia sikia kuia ia sikia. Welcome, blessed one. Sikotoia ia sikia ia sikotoia ia sikotoia for this marvelous gathering. Tukotoia ia sikia tukotia I tukoia ia sikotoia ia sikita kaya ia sikoia sikotoia. We lend our energies with yours. Sikotoia ia sikotoia ia sikia tukotoia ia. Thank you for coming. Sikoia ia io sikai tatoia ia.
Thank you. David.
Ya tia ru kus ma aki chiara kukure tanzira ma akiwe churiata kuria aniatiara. Share your love with all you see. Kurama atiaran zuru ma akikeshan. Yatunzira zukukuya chichiara akukua hangina atiwa ashishi. Peace, love.
Thank you. Barbara?
Shatakata kiata tokotokia tiki katapakata hiata kashanitisi kikikata kotokoa hiata patakati shitiniata kashawa hiata tapaki kikishi tititia pakatakana tititia tato kipikia takiatoko kusha hiata katapakashi hiata kamati yata. Blessings.
Blessings. Okay, Angie. Did you want to?
Yes, I wanted to say that I've been in contact with Jim and we are going to go ahead and schedule our next class. It will be the beginning or mid-April. He's going to let me know which class it's going to be. And so if you have any interest in any of the classes, please get an email out to me, classes@hucolo.org. And then that way I can get that information to him on what the popular demand is. I've already got several emails in the past from people, so I've let him know about those. So give me an email, shoot me an email, classes@hucolo.org, and that will we will get the next class scheduled beginning mid-April.
Great. Perfect. So, dear Lou Martin, how are you?
I'm good.
Good. I'm going to put you on spotlight so I can see you. Let me get you here so everyone can see you. Why isn't it clicking? One moment. my computer is being. Can I get everyone that's to Scott, David? Can I get you guys to kill your cameras and then we can? That way I don't. There. Thank you. All right. So, Lou Martin, how are you?
I'm still good.
All right. So tell us since the last time we talked to you, you launched a podcast today. You launched it?
I put 2 episodes out this week. The first one was Monday. I interviewed a lovely teacher from who's based in Hawaii. Her name is Ali Ray, and that was called Love Is, Love Is, Love Is. And then yesterday I posted an interview with Joseph Delaney, who is from the UK, and he is the National Health Service Integrative Health advocate, and he is his is called Feel Good with Dr. Joe. So
okay,
yes, yes.
And so, what is the name of your podcast, and where can people listen to it?
Sure, it's on Spotify, and it's called Awakened Spirits Network.
Perfect. Very nice.
Yeah.
And you're doing? Are you going to be doing it once a week, twice a week? How is it going to work?
Well, I have from my YouTube channel, I have about 200 interviews. So I'm kind of working back through them and making sure that those are all saved and available to people, depending on whatever YouTube decides to do with all of us these days. But I will be doing new ones as well. So yeah, I've got other people lined up. There's a teacher in Mount Shasta named Teresa Lutenager who we're going to chat. And there's a friend of mine from Ireland who lives in New Zealand, MJ Halligan, and a few others. So yeah, more to come.
Perfect. And what is the basic premise of the podcast?
Well, that we're living in this unprecedented time of awakening, healing, and growth. And let's listen to the wise and the inspired among us who can help us to know how to consciously create a joyous reality.
Perfect. So last we talked, you had just moved into this apartment. I think the last time you were on, you were just in this apartment for maybe a week or something, but you seem to be settled in and everything seems to be going well for you. And
I've been here since January. So
yeah. Okay. Maybe okay. I don't remember when the last time was, but it seems like you've just been there for a week. And so as far as like so in the morning you do your daily prayer still?
Yes, I do. On my Facebook page, I do an hour, 9 to 10 a.m. Ireland time, which is available for the rest of the day, called Morning Prayers. And it's stories and poems and channeled messages and guided meditations. And it's just, a program for people to kind of set the tone for the day and create what they want. So for you, and I always ask you this because you're so in tune with it, but I'm going to ask you again. So what's alive for you right now with, everything going on the planet, you personally, I mean, you know what I mean? But what is alive for you as far as what are you focused on? What are your, Well, thanks, hon. It's, I'm a follower of Patricia Cota Robles, who I find very, very helpful. And she just did a program with Enrita Melchizedek and a few other teachers on the 11/11 there on Thursday. And that was basically an introduction to the next 40 days between now and the winter solstice of December 20th, 21st, as a time of intense purification and activation for awakening humanity. And that all, definitely fits my perception of what's happening. And the theme that I'm working with is, both understanding what's happening and, finding the things that make life joyous and meaningful, and sharing our passions and our inspirations with each other. And, just really a very clear sense in my mind and heart that since March 2020, when things changed so dramatically, up until today, we've been going through an initiation, and now we're really entering a time when the light, the inspiration, the love, the hope, all of that is going to be more better able to be received by the general population out in the world.
Yeah, I will tell you that, I don't know if I described this to you, but before 2020, in around July of 2020, I started to feel things were going to change. I didn't know how or why, but I knew that when I felt into 2020, this is 2019, 2020, I couldn't feel past March, which was a weird feeling of not being able to feel it. And it was like we went into like a cloud. I saw it as, how when you're in an airplane and you have you see out into the clouds, but you can't really see anything. You're just in this whiteness. And that's the way I felt, that we were going into this cloud. And to me, and also all the way up until that moment, I started getting 555, 555 on everything, everywhere I looked. And I couldn't understand, like, I was thinking, what's coming? I knew that means change, big change, 555.
Yeah.
And so I would be afraid to even look at the clock because it was going to be 555, seriously. And because I work very early in the morning, I am up at 5:55. And so I would see it. And then I would be walking down the street and there it would be. And I was just like, I didn't want to look at anything digital because I was getting, overrun. And I don't say freaked out, but it was like, I get it. Stop showing me. And so, and then also too, because I couldn't feel past that period, I had no idea what was coming. I just knew it was going to be big. And I knew I would get stuck in India, which I did. And I was even prepared. I started preparing in October to be stuck in India when I got there. And that ended up happening. But the thing is this cloudiness of being able to feel into the future has been the same. It's been this mist of continuation. And I've described it like this more than once, that it's felt like one long day, even though it's been now a year and some odd months. I feel like it's been one long day. And then for the first time, and I think it's been about a month ago now, in March 2022, I see a break in the clouds. And I don't know if your information is the same, but I feel like March is going to be the time. And that, I think I got that information in a meditation, and I wasn't even asking about it. But it just came through that all of a sudden I saw like the clouds part, and all of a sudden there was blue sky, which it's been just missed for this long time. So I don't know what your information is regarding that. Can you confirm or?
Well, sure. No, that I'm taking it all in. It's you're very gifted in your own right, and I trust your messages. Yeah, it feels that way to me astrologically. One of my guys said, it's like November and December of 2021 are going to be the essence of the last 2 years. And so, it's, did you learn the lesson? Did you get the message? Are you on your soul's path? Are you ready for anything? Are you ready for everything? And it's just, like you're saying there, deepening our connection to our spirit, and trusting that, and seeking to be of service to that, and being very honest and very humble about how unpredictable and how chaotic the world has become or could become, and just doing our best to stay centered with it. Yeah. So I like that.
So what do you, obviously I know what you're going to recommend, but for people listening, what do you recommend to get to that place of, are you following your soul's path? Does that mean quitting your job? Does that mean moving? Or does that mean just going inside and making your deeper connection? A lot of people have moved. A lot of people have changed locations.
Oh, yeah.
I'm in the process of getting rid of everything, basically.
Yes, dear. Yeah. Well, it's great. Yes, because of course, you're trusting your guidance, and you're surrendering to your guidance every day so that you can trust your guidance, you know?
I had
Uh,
more for clarification of my purpose
mhm.
in this period as well, but
Yeah,
maybe you can speak to that
yeah,
as well.
sure. Well, yeah, I mean, part of my story is that, so we had a house fire in my room 2 days before Christmas last year, and everything I had created or owned or collected or built up to that point was burnt to a little cinder. And so I started again with the clothes on my back and my French press coffee pot, and the kindness of my Irish friends here, and my American friends as well, and many others. So, yeah, and my landlord is lovely. So I've been in this place, and people have supported me, and I'm doing my work again. So yes, I've been slowly building back up. But the other story I want to say is, as I said, I just did get to do an interview this morning with a lovely new friend. Peter Coughlin is his name, and he's starting a page about healing, and I'm his third interview, so that's very jolly. And Peter and I both play music, and so what was happening for me over the summer was there's a farmer's market that's just around the corner from where I'm at. I'm just 100 yards from my old house, and I've been watching it rebuilt and whatnot. And so I go to the market on Saturdays, and they've had me ask me to get up and play some music. So, long story short, Declan, my buddy here, he gave me a guitar after the fire, and I've been using that. And I got up and played 90 minutes, by myself, and I'd never done that before in my life. So that was kind of a coming out, and I've gotten on and done a few lives on Facebook here. And then Peter loaned me this beautiful guitar that he's a collector, etc. So I'm just saying, things are opening up, things are flowing, things are manifesting. But yes, it's like we're saying here, to everyone who's listening, continue to surrender to God's will for your life, and you will see things get easier. If you're worried, fearful, anxious, and trying to figure it out on your own, it's wobbly, and those are the choices.
Yeah, because fear is the great disabler, whereas
Yeah.
love is the great, I don't want to say enabler, because that's maybe not a positive word, but it enables.
Sure.
Enables
Yeah.
everything.
Yeah.
Yeah. So in
Yeah.
this period of time, I mean, I feel like you've been very surrendered to the process of maybe because you had no choice.
Oh yeah, completely had no choice. Yeah.
But what was the biggest, I would say, what was the biggest learning for you? What was the thing you had to let go of, or
I just think a deeper level of surrender,
oh, you
and
just
deeper
got all
level of,
verbally. Say that again. You just think it what?
um, uh, you know, a deeper level of surrender, a deeper level of willingness and self-honesty, and just yeah, it's your life. It's hard to argue with your life. Your life is the feedback system that's telling you how you're doing. And if you have a tragedy or a catastrophe like that was, there's no arguing with it. It's there, and you've got to learn from it and grow from it if you want to be wise. And it just has helped me to be more surrendered, I'd say.
Do you feel like you faced anger or fear or any of those things, or was that not an issue for you? Hold on one
That's a
second.
great
Somebody's
question.
not muted.
Sure.
1 second. I just want to see who's not muted here. Scott.
Sure.
Scott, you're being muted. Okay. All right. Go ahead.
Yeah. No, I think that's a great question. I mean, of course, I'm human like everyone, and all those feelings come up from time to time, depending on what's happening and how I'm responding or reacting to what's happening.
Mhm.
But again, I'm really blessed that I've had the support to have the time, the space, the resources, to do what I love, which is talking about these things, and helping to share my stories and inspire other people to share their stories. again, it's like with that which must not be named. These things are life-changing challenges for all of us, and
Mhm.
so life is saying, "Do I have your attention? Do I have your cooperation? Are you,
Right.
is this the life you really want to be living? Are you really representing the life and the values that you believe in?"
Mhm.
So I've just tried to do that better.
Yeah. I can only express it in a way of, and it's not the same, but I can just say that with the, is this the life you want to be living? I know that um, over this last year, especially in trying to divest of a lot of things and to move and to, that I've many times gotten sidetracked by things that looked like they would be good and like, oh, I should move here and I should get this and I should do, and I'm like, I have to keep pulling myself back to my
Right?
path, you know,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
and not get distracted and reminding myself, why did I start this process in the first place? And if I say I want this, I have to stay on this path, but it's so easy to just go this way. And then you find, okay, you're on another path, which is fine, but is that the path that you've said that you know
Yeah.
that you should be on? And
Yeah.
there's been a huge realization. I'm like, nope, I'm getting
Yeah.
off on another like
Yeah.
little tangent. And to remind, like, why am I doing this? And do I really want this? It's, returning to my
Yeah.
primary goal. And at one point, I think for about 2 weeks, I spun off in some other direction. And all of a sudden, everything I was doing was different. And I'm like, wait, no, that's not what I'm trying to do
Right.
here. I'm
Right.
trying to do this so I can do this. And
Hmm.
it may not make sense to people, but basically
Oh
my
yeah.
goal is to be able to spend the majority of my time in India.
Yeah.
That's my goal. So
Yeah.
in order to do that, I'm selling my house, which will allow me to get something that will be mortgage free, hopefully, and
Yeah.
to have very little expenses, which will allow me to travel for extended periods of time without having to work very much,
Yeah.
like at all.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, like I was going to sell my house and I thought, well, maybe I'll buy a house in New York and New York would be great. And then I could see myself getting sucked into New York because New
Yeah.
York is one of those places where if you live there, you live there. And I could see myself now, maybe going back into acting. And I'm thinking, wait,
Right. Right. Right.
don't do that. And then, there's just so many, and I was like, that is not what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to let go of more and more. And so I'm really,
Yeah.
and I was
Yeah.
like, no, I want to buy a big house. And I'm thinking, no, I need to be almost in a tiny house, not because I can't afford a big house, but because I'm trying to simplify, and just
Hmm.
these pulls always in these other directions where I'm like, wait, stay on your goal,
Yeah.
and yeah, it's difficult to sometimes to maintain. And I
Sure.
think that you're constantly tested by the universe. What the universe says, this is what you say you want, but hey, this is okay. You can do this or you can do that. And it doesn't mean that if I chose those other things, it would be wrong. It just means that I had, I wasn't following and maybe I would go like this and get back to my path. I would go
Sure.
around it and do something else, but I don't want to waste any more time. I don't want to
Well,
waste time now.
yes, dear. That's a big statement you just said there. Yeah, I'm sure everyone can relate to that. What I see is that the plans that we make for ourselves in terms of the future, like you're just describing there, is completely connected with the future that we believe and expect is going to be there for us.
Right.
And, we don't know that at the moment, I think more than ever in this lifetime. That the future will be what the past was in a different version. It could be very different. It could be radically different. It could be, a little different, but it is changing. And so,
Hugely.
yeah, hugely changing. And so, yeah, it's like the value of being able to speak our truth, let's say, for example, just in general terms, that has become a very valuable thing where before we just took it for granted, and to be able to trust the information that we're receiving in our culture and from the authorities in our life, etc., governments and media and all that, has become a much more complicated story for most of us. So this is where we really are being asked to be very discerning, is the word I'm reaching for. This is
Yeah.
my truth, this is my value, this is my plan, this is my idea. And like we're saying, I can't do it for you, you can't do it for me. Everyone's kind of on their own to decide what their future is going to look like. And then to come back to the spiritual time of spiritual awakening for humanity, which I completely believe is what is really happening beneath the surface here for most people. We're looking for freedom. We're looking for the freedom to do and be who we truly came to this world to do and to be, as you just said. Wonderful.
Right.
So
Yeah.
there's a whole, energy and grace, like you were saying, enabling. Love is enabling. Love is empowering. Love is inspiring. Love is enlivening. All of these kinds of things. So we're the more that we channel that love, the more doors are going to open for us. I'm seeing that and believe that. And but it's like you say, it's easy to get overwhelmed, distracted, seduced.
Seduced is the best word, I think. Yeah, seduced, definitely seduced. It's like,
yeah.
you almost got me there. That was a good one. You got me.
Yeah, New York, huh? Yeah, remember those
The
days?
thing with New
That was
York, I
fun.
always said if I had the money to live in New York again, I would do it. And the idea of being able to buy a condo or something there with having no, just buying it outright is like, I've never been in that position before. And then so all of a sudden here's everything you said you would do. And it's like, yes, but I don't want that.
Yeah,
But
it's hard
there's
to
a
buy
part
a
of me
condo
that's
in
like,
New York and live in
I'm
India
like,
most of the time.
yeah, because I think you would find yourself once you get into it's very hard to leave New York. I don't know if any of you ever lived there, but if you live there, it's hard to get out. It takes a long time. Yeah, it's very difficult. Yeah. And so it's like, that's not where I want to be. That's not where I want to be.
Sure.
There's a question in the chat from Cami.
Yeah.
This is a good question.
Yeah.
She says, what is the experience of on the 21-22 event? And no, she's saying, what is the experience of the 21-22 event? What will it be to ordinary non-spiritual humans? Will they even perceive it?
Great question. Thank you. I have no idea. Honestly. I mean, let's put it this way. Part of the synchronicities for me of this program that is still live online on YouTube, 1111, and Rita Melchizedek and Patricia Cota Robles. I got invited by Anrita Melchizedek, who's based in South Africa, to 2 summers ago go over and be part of a workshop with her and about 20 other teachers at Glastonbury for the summer solstice. And that was that was an absolute thrill. And then Patricia is someone I've followed off and on for years. But when she started doing her weekly videos, and she's on about number 250, so she's done a video a week, each week for the last 250 weeks. When she started that, I was there at number 1, and I've been on the journey with her the whole way through. And then in morning prayers, we've done 2 of her books so far. We've read a chapter or done a bit of it each morning, and that was through 2020. And then we finished that up, and then we did a little bit more in 2021. And so there are all these synchronicities about this time that I didn't expect. And I just, I was saying to Peter here, who interviewed me today, everything in my life is telling me you're getting ready for a big moment, and we want your full attention, period. So as we're saying to our friend who is asking, we have there's only a handful of people, let's say, that follow Patricia's videos. She gets about 3,000 hits a week, and I follow Joe Rogan, who gets 16 million, and I follow Bobby Kennedy Jr., who gets a good few, etc. So she's not listened to by everyone. But if since I've been drawn to her material and her teaching and her guidance, etc., which I find so helpful, I trust that there's a connection there with me about what she's offering. So I'm just saying here to our friend, to answer the question, ask the universe to help you help other people understand what's happening, what's possible, let's say. Which, as Karen and I are saying, our mind is incapable of really understanding. Our heart knows what our mind struggles to believe. So we will ask, we will strive, we will seek, we will not get there. But if our heart is involved, the magic will happen somehow.
That's from the Bible, right? Our mind struggles with our heart. Is that the biblical, what you just said?
No, that's a quote from my guides. That's my channeling.
Oh, I swear it says it in the Bible too. Something like that.
It may say something like that, but that's where I found that.
Metaway said, he said to, in comment to what I was saying, he said, we can seduce ourselves to endlessly drift like we have no life path. That's true. That's true.
Yeah.
Very true. Yeah.
Yeah, his guides were reading the Bible at the time. Yeah, so.
Maybe. Thanks, David.
Or writing it, one or the other.
Yeah. So you're writing it. That's true.
Yeah.
There was something else I wanted to ask you that you were talking about. One moment. Give me a second.
I'm just going to turn
Give me a moment to grab it out of the air. Did anyone have any questions for Lou? You can type your questions or say you have a question and we can go to a question. But I'm trying to remember what I wanted to ask him.
Well, let me just jump in for 1 second here.
Yeah, sure. Go ahead.
Sure. I mean, that you popped up this morning and here I am this afternoon is lovely and amazing and exciting and thrilling and wonderful, and all your great friends on here with us. We're all creating our reality all the time, either through deliberate or through unconscious means, right? We're either deliberately creating it or we're allowing it, is the way Lazarus teaches us. So it's like we see the chaos, confusion, fear, it's a censorship, these sorts of things. And somewhere we're saying we're allowing that. And then at some point, there's the tipping point, which is perhaps what's coming in March, please God, where we're saying, no, we're not allowing that any longer. We're not accepting that this is the future that we want to inherit together. So I'm just saying, however we can reach to empowerment, this is the humanity is seeking to awaken from victim consciousness, right? And come back into conscious co-creation with a loving and positive universe. Everyone who's here, I believe, signed up for this, volunteered and was chosen to be on the team. And if you're a spiritually awake and open-minded and open-hearted human being, which is this group for sure, then the universe is saying, what would you like to see happen? What would you believe you could create? What would you imagine is possible? So, don't give Karen or me or anyone else all the fun here. Create your own reality and show us what's possible.
I just wanted to add, because Cami asked, what about people who are non-spiritual? Well, there's no such thing as a non-spiritual human. We're all spiritual. We are spiritual beings having a human experience. And so change the judgment there. Everyone is having their own experience. And so they will experience this from the perspective that they hold. Sure. And so it doesn't mean that they won't have a great experience or they won't have a positive experience about it. It just means that their perspective of the whys it's going this way may be very different, and they may not attribute it to something, but it really doesn't matter so much. What really matters is that they are able to thrive and able to live their lives, and they're choosing a positive direction. I mean, there's a lot of atheists out there that are pretty great people, and it doesn't have anything to do with whether or not they're spiritual. Atheists don't consider themselves to be spiritual, but the way that they live, someone who's spiritual might consider those to be spiritual principles. So I think that to tell someone they're non-spiritual is just, if we really believe that, in oneness, we cannot believe that anyone is not spiritual.
Sure, but I think also
at their core and their essence.
Right. That's true. I just think as well, a lot of people who have had religious abuse, as Matthew Fox describes it,
Yeah.
define themselves as anti-spiritual because they associate religion with spirituality.
Right. Exactly. That's true.
But I love what you're saying, that it's to be a moral person, to be a caring person, to be a loving person. Those are your spiritual qualities. So I think people that might not consider themselves in that light, need to be supported, to see themselves in a more conscious way, in a less reactive way.
Okay, great.
I love the joke. Religion is for people that are afraid of going to hell, and spirituality is for people that have been there. That's the difference.
I think that's true. Bridget had a question. Go ahead, Bridget. Bridget, there she is. Hello.
Yes. Hello. I want.
Hi.
Hello. The question that I have is that I feel the calling to connect to people who are, well, quite at a loss at this time in
Sure.
In the universe that we are in, and that when I do that, I find myself very often saying things and with such strength that I'm saying, "Oh wow, was it me who was talking?"
Good. Good for you, hon. Good.
Yes. Well, there is an insecurity in myself, whether I'm just trying to look interesting to the other people, or if it is real sourced or something real that is. I also have that I start crying, or I feel my tears now when I'm talking about something that really matters. My tears
Sure,
come.
sweetheart.
And well, I started a church recently.
Wow.
Because we are not allowed to congregate anymore,
Right.
but churches are. So I thought, well, government, if that's the way you want to have it, I start my own church.
Good for you. Yeah.
But
You're my hero. Bless you. What can I help you with? Yeah.
yes, my insecurity for if I'm saying to people who are depressed or wanting to kill themselves, well, everything will be fine. You just go, go, go. Don't let things don't let them bring you down.
Sure.
They're old programs.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I think you're doing great, Bretta, again, for whatever it's worth here. When don't worry about how anything looks. The ego loves about arguing about appearances and what people are thinking or perceiving. Waste of time, in my opinion. Just focus on how you feel. And as you say, it brings your tears up because you're a kind, loving, caring human being. God bless you. So just let people feel that love and that kindness and that care, honey. That's always going to be the best thing you can do for anyone.
Yes. So you're saying just go.
Just go for it. Yes. Yes. And confidence, my teacher Lazarus describes confidence as the knowledge that we have access to the resources within us to make any situation meaningful. In other words, in the process of reaching out to people, starting a church, counseling people, etc., in the process of giving, more is given to you, and you become stronger and clearer in your giving. And that confidence is basically being practiced at giving in the way that you're passionate about.
Yes, and it's my own insights, understandings, and wisdom is growing with each contact that I have with everybody
Hallelujah.
who entrusts him or herself to me.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yes.
Good. Sweetheart, you're on fire. Blaze a trail. Do your thing. Bless your heart. And ask God to help you and guide you every day, and they will.
I do that.
There you go. See? We're on the same team.
Happy
Good
to
for
be
you.
on the same team.
Yes, me too. It's the only game in town. It's the winning side. Yes.
Yes, and I have such a strong feeling, oh, I start crying, that we are all connected. Very often I'm asking myself, what am I doing here in this very tip of the Netherlands? Not much around, and I felt so lonely for so many years.
Okay.
Ever since childhood.
Yeah.
And now I know what it was all for. And I knew all the time, I knew that this was coming.
Yes, there you go.
I couldn't figure it out how.
Right.
How could this world that was just fitting together with going to school, taking up a profession, getting kids,
Yes.
having a house, how could all this just collapse? I knew it, but I couldn't know how. I just couldn't see it.
Right.
And now I'm settling. Yes, I know. I knew and I know.
Yeah.
And that it is now so important to find the other magnets from all of you, from a soul family.
Yes.
And to get nourished from that, and a broader horizon of stronger vibes or empowerment. So this was an amazing time.
What an amazing time. Absolutely. Aren't we so blessed to be living in such a powerful, amazing time and be given this opportunity to help people know what's been in our hearts for forever, that God's love is more powerful than the world.
Yes.
You're doing great. We're cheering you on.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Bless your heart. Yeah, the for me, it's like we empty out and then we get filled up with inspiration. So meditation, prayer, journaling, these are the things I do every day, and I'm sure most of us are doing at this point. And so if you come to peace, right, then you can be inspired and guided. So that's all I have to offer anybody is keep coming back to peace, which is the presence of infinite possibilities. And then God, Source, Spirit will give you the next step on your journey. And you'll go, oh, I could do that. I could call this person. I could go here, and you'll do it, and it will work.
I want to add something, because I tried meditation and it doesn't really work for me. I'm a chef and I really love cooking.
Yeah.
When I'm chopping the leeks or onions, when I'm I'm not joking, and I know you're not making fun of me.
No.
But to lose myself, not to lose myself, but to really be in the chopping and to really be present in the washing up, it doesn't matter, but to really be present, that for me is that's my way of life.
Sure.
And when I walk I enjoy my walk. And when I'm outside and I hear the bird, I listen to the bird. And so to be present and to watch my breath, on which I can inhale and exhale freely, and on if there's a thought that my breath just comes to here and I'm not letting it go further down my body, to be aware of these signs, and then to go inside. Hey, how come this thought or this remark from the neighbor affected me like that? So a continuous self-investigation or observation, and then working with the barriers, the blockages. Is that English?
Yeah.
Yes.
Great.
So that is what I find is so very important. For me, just sitting and meditating is not the thing.
Sure, honey. No, I hear you. I use guided meditations, but that was brilliant. Everything you said is right. Whatever can bring you back to the moment, the presence, the peace, and you do lose yourself in the moment, in the task, etc. Once that space for grace is there, you see, where you're not doing this, you're not worrying, wondering, thinking, figuring, there's that space, then spirit will fill that space with inspiration.
Yes.
Keep on keeping on.
Thank
Sorry?
you. I said, thank you, Bridget. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank
Brilliant.
you.
Well done. Bravo.
All right.
Yay. Wonderful.
All right. So there is a question from, let me get your camera off. Thank you. There's a question in the chat from Curious Light Channeler, which is a great name. Says, how come there are so many conspiracy theories out there on the internet? And what can we do to stay sane?
Okay, you're going to let me chew on that one. All right.
Oh,
Yes.
so much of it's algorithm. So much of what comes in front of you is algorithm. If you look up one thing, you will only be, because the algorithm says, oh, you like this subject. So anything around that subject comes up. And then all the extraneous stuff. And as soon as you look at something that's a little bit off the subject, you start getting more and more of that. And so I've found that if I start to go down a rabbit hole, I just start looking at cat videos, so that I changed my algorithm that I'm just getting cat videos, because you get bombarded and then you start to think this is the only thing that's going on in the world.
Yeah.
And that's not the case. There's a lot of cats going on in the world, or talking birds, or whatever. But I try to change my algorithms by typing in something innocuous and very neutral, so that I can get more of that, so that I can clear my brain space and start to think clearly. Because if everything you see is just one thing, it does have a way of pulling you, thinking, oh, then that's the only thing going on in the world. And we have to be cognizant of what the algorithms do. I mean, there was a time, a few years ago, when everyone was like, if I said anything about I wanted a pair of pants, everything on Facebook was pants, or whatever it would be. And so I consciously try to change my algorithm, and it works.
Sure. No,
but you can say why they're all there, why there's so many. That's just
bless you.
What to do with it. But why are there so many?
Well,
how do we stay safe?
Yeah. I mean, again, it's there's a joke on Facebook that says the difference between a conspiracy theory and a conspiracy is 6 months.
Say that again. What did you say?
The difference between a conspiracy theory and a conspiracy is 6 months. But we might think about that one. But I mean, I just want to come back to discernment and truth. I mean, I love what you said, because that's, we're all living online most of the time with one thing and another these days. And you're right, there is an agenda of, what's the other one? If the service is free, you are the product, of Facebook, that our information is sold to advertisers, like you're saying about pants and things like that. And Google's made jillions from advertising through our searches and things like this. So, we need to be very discerning. And I mean, I've found a lot of answers to things that I had no idea about when all this began, let's say. And Karen and I might not agree about the answers, and that's absolutely fine. And others might not as well. That's absolutely fine. But I'm pretty convinced that I know the answers to the questions that I'm living with. And so I shared those answers in places where that's okay for me to do that. And meanwhile, like we're saying here, the bigger picture is how do we live a life of joy and meaning when everyone else is focused on chaos and confusion? And, what's the poem, if you can keep your head while all about you are losing theirs, Rudyard Kipling, his poem, If, it really kind of is like that. My guides, the other quote I love to share from them is, peace is the presence of infinite possibilities. And like Our Lady was just saying there, and bless her heart for starting a church and helping talk people out of killing themselves and all sorts of beautiful things that she's doing there. She really is doing great work. People need hope. And hope is, for me, hope comes from things can get better. things can change. We don't know everything. We don't know why things are the way they are, perhaps. So let's hold on to that we will know, and that we will overcome these challenges, and we will find a way to make it all meaningful. I mean, sweetheart, Karen, I just love you to pieces, you know. I tell you this every chance I get, so brace yourself. And you know, Karen is my hero here, because here she is, you know, serving people and doing her great work and taking care of the cats and the birds of India, and you know, putting it out there every day, you know. So you know, you're an inspiration to me, and I'm sure to other people here as well. And this is what we're seeking for: is how can we inspire each other? How can we uplift each other? Yeah.
I think I'll just say thank you for what you said.
You let me get away with it, so thank you.
Well, thank you for saying that, but you inspire me as well. I think and always have. I think the thing is about what you said about hope is so important. There's always been conspiracy. There's always been conspiracy since man has walked the planet. There's been conspiracy. The thing that's different in these days is that we are like, every time we do a search online of anything, we get, this is a sales thing. And I have a sales background. So, but trust me, but it's even more concentrated. It's like the difference of drinking a drop of bleach in a gallon of water, which will do nothing. And it might clean up the water a little bit, make it safer to drink. As opposed to now it's like drinking a gallon of bleach with a drop of water in it. It's the difference of how concentrated it has become. What happens is, soon as you type in, tell me about pyramids, for example, or what is the history of pyramids? Soon as you do that, the algorithms go beep, 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 beep. Karen likes pyramids. So for the next however many minutes or days, I will get pyramids coming through on my feeds. And if the more I click on them, the more they're like, oh, she really likes pyramids, more, so that you are inundated with them constantly. So where you think, I just wanted to search something, all of a sudden I'm finding out that this conspiracy has happened and these people are involved in all these things. You become inundated. I would recommend that whenever that starts to happen, when you start to see the wave, but for a lot of people, they've already been covered by this wave of water, you change your algorithm. Type in, go for like 10 minutes and do nothing but look at cat videos. I'm not kidding, because it clears that thing and you see them much less. All of a sudden you're seeing cats, everything related to cats, maybe big cats, little cats, talking cats, whatever. But you cannot, your mind starts to think, oh, everything is about this. And what I've said before, and someone gave me a very nice feedback about it, is that anytime you're watching any information and it makes you feel like helpless, the world is going to shit, that you are, that everything is just wrong and everything, you need to back away, because anything that disempowers you, information that disempowers you to that degree, is not solution oriented. If there's a problem, there needs to be a solution. And so much of what content creators do is they grab a hot topic and then they run with it, not because they believe in it, but because the views come. And when the views come, the monetary money comes. If they can go from 1,000 subscribers to 100,000 in a short amount of time, they do it. And there's a lot of people that have done that and continue to do that. And so, and that happens in the conspiracy world as well. Whatever the topic happens to be at the moment, people will grab it. That's why everybody starts talking about the same thing at the same time, because it's more, it just makes more views. And you have to be very careful on who's just out there for the views and who's really sharing information. And you'll see someone you've never seen before, never heard of before, comes in and they've got 200,000 subscribers, and you listen to their content and it's just the regurgitation of something you've seen somewhere else. It's generally that those people are just riding the wave. And there's several people within this spiritual community, several channels, and I say several, I mean more than 25, more than 20 that do that. They do it. And I'll give you a good example. Bashar is a huge channeler, obviously. He's like one of the original channelers. There's people that only channel what Bashar is channeled. They're not channeling anything original. They're not channeling anything, but people like Bashar's information, so they grab it and they run with it and then try to make their own way with it. And you just have to you always have to ask yourself, is this true? Does this empower me? Does this in some way add to my life, or does it put me in a feeling of fear and hopelessness? And if it's putting you in a thing where you feel like you have no power, I would say no matter what they're saying, walk away from it, because you are powerful. How can you go from being powerful and sitting down on the internet 5 minutes, think that the whole world is like screwed beyond screwed? And even if things are happening that are negative in the world, there is still solution and hope. And as long as you can find the hope, then okay, explore what you want to explore. But if you're getting like beaten down where you just think it's just better to die, or just give up, or you need to start fighting and start a war and these things, then we looked at radicalization in Islam, for example. That's what happened. You had a lot of people very scared, and they come in, these people are our enemy, and then people get radicalized. Well, it's happening just as much in the West with different things. People are being radicalized by radical ideas that are disempowering because people don't believe they have power. And we are powerful creator beings. So if it's not bad to give somebody some bad news, but if it's not followed with, and this is what we need to do, look for a different source.
Yeah, it's good. I like it. Yeah, well said.
Yeah, but what were you going to say?
Oh, no, that was gorgeous. That was lovely. So what comes to my mind is my guides. So there's information, there's inspiration, and there's transformation. And, as you're saying, when hatred and fear, okay, just to speak really plainly about it, is used, as you're saying, to fuel getting people to vote a certain way or do a certain thing or believe a certain thing, that is, to me, that is not the path. Okay, whatever the excuse, whatever the reason, whatever the justification, et cetera, et cetera. So to step back from that and go, all right, I see this crisis, this problem, et cetera. As you say, what can I bring to this that's positive, that's hopeful, that's inspiring? So information, step one. Inspiration, step two. And that's why you and I practice music, and we always recommend to people, the woman here who's the chef, gets into her rhythm doing the prep work and all that at the kitchen. Whatever you can do to get into that inspired state, that is going to give you a different perspective than the information. That'll give you a broader perspective. And then when you find what it is that you are wanting to add to the conversation, that's transformative. That has an impact. That influences people. That says, this is the way that I want to point out for others to begin to think about going down. So all three of those, you're right. What happens is we're in this reality where we're just bombarded with information over and over again. And that's why, it's a spiritual crisis, because humanity has forgotten really how to get into that state of inspiration in a way that is sacred, in a way that is uplifting and beautiful and nurturing and empowering. So that's where we're going, to my mind.
I mean, it's really people talk about the law of attraction. The law of attraction is manifest in what we look at on the internet. Where attention goes, energy flows. Whatever we focus on, we will get more and more and more and more of it. And I mean, people talk about it as the ability to manifest a car or the love of their life, but truly, what we look at online, it's the same. Whatever we focus on, we will get more and more and more of it. What is the word when you get like an avalanche proportions? Right. That's what I was trying to find. There's a really nice question from Veritas. No, is it Veritas? Who said the question? I think Veritas. Where is it? Oh, no, it was Metaway. Met Wally, sorry. Hey, Met Wally is his name. Do you have a method of getting God to answer questions?
Great question. Great
Yeah.
question. Well, I want to hear your question, but yeah,
That was my
it
question.
really is sitting in the silence, and the longer I sit, the more open and receptive I become. As Our Lady was saying, the mind is busy, and life is confusing, and there are pressures and demands and responsibilities and duties and obligations. You want to turn all that down and just sit and be available. And eventually that creates the space where the answer comes, whether it's here's the answer, or you feel like, okay, I'm done now. You get up, you live your life, and boom, the answer falls in front of you.
Okay. David, you just posted the word yes. You didn't say question.
Maybe he's agreeing with me.
Just one more thing I just want to add about Bridget used a good word. She talked about programming. A way to test if you are programmed is to take a break for like a week from social media and not, okay, you have to do searches, but don't go on Facebook for a week. Don't go on YouTube for a week. Don't watch the news for a week, and see if the ideas that you are ruminating, if they stay hold. Like we know, for instance, we know the sky is blue. We have the experience of it. We know it. It's internalized. But see if the ideas that are presented to you seem as real or as poignant after a week. It's like a delayed gratification technique, but to see if the information you've taken on still holds the same weight with you a week or 2 weeks later. And if it doesn't, then it's almost like a fad. It's almost like a fad or a trend, the trend of everybody has to have a certain kind of clothes, or everyone wants to have a haircut a certain way. But if you step away from it, is it something you really, really resonate with? Because if you're swept up in I don't want to say hysteria, but in the momentum of a very fast moving stream, you get caught up. There is crowd mentality even on the internet.
Absolutely.
And if you take a step away from it, you might find, no, that's nothing for me. That's nothing that I want. Matt Wally saying no internet at all. I think, well, for some people that might be necessary, but I think it's about putting fail-safe measures in place to protect yourself. We talk about discrimination. Discrimination doesn't mean just saying, is this wrong or is it right? It's about, how does this make me feel? How does this empower me? How does this disempower me? I've watched, one time when I was I'd broken up with a boyfriend and I was in college, and I watched like 3 of the most depressing movies in the world afterwards. And by the end, I wanted to kill myself, not really, but I was so down, and I was like, well, this did not help me whatsoever. This didn't help me. But it's because we ingest, we eat with our mouth, but we also eat with our eyes and with our ears. And we have to be careful what we're putting in us, because we become a product. Just like when I eat an apple, it's no longer an apple, it's part of me. Right. I eat the apple, it goes through my digestion, and I become one. Well, the same thing with the information. Whatever you take in is affecting you, not only on a mental level, but on a spiritual, cellular, and emotional level. It is affecting you. So take a moment to see if that's the kind of food that feeds you, truly feeds you. And if more of us did this, we would refuse to go down rabbit holes. And I, because the rabbit holes rarely have an end. They just go deeper and deeper and deeper. And then pretty soon you're back to Kennedy's assassination. Always, it always goes back, or it goes back to, whatever. But What I'm saying is give yourself some moments of pause.
Yeah.
So that you can go spend time in nature and see if, spending time with the trees or the grass, or taking a nice pie to your neighbor or whatever that you haven't seen in a while, and just having a conversation is the antidote sometimes to some of this stuff, because it can be quite dire, quite dark. A lot of it, and not uplifting.
Right.
David,
Discernment. Yeah. Discernment is the word I like.
Yeah.
Which is so that was gorgeous, hon. I loved it. Judgment is what we do out of fear. And as we say, there is a tremendous amount of that in the world right now that's the drum that's being beaten a lot to distract us, to radicalize us. That was a great reminder of that word and where that can go, versus being discerning, which is there something for me in this? Does this help me? Does this serve me? Does this empower me? And then, as you said, do small acts of kindness, look after the people in your life and your neighborhood, etc. Be an agent of love and empowerment and mercy and generosity in your life. Give, whatever you have to offer to people, because that very fact alone, that act alone, again, like our chef there with her church, that is going to have a huge impact. I really feel like we were talking about the context of things. I really feel like we are in a crossroads over the next few months,
Sure.
and we're needing to really deepen our commitment to love and to kindness and to compassion and to the things that open our hearts and help us take care of each other. And if people can't find a way into that, it's going to get pretty dark, is the other side of the coin, is the suggestion. Doesn't have to, but we have to have this duality in order for our free will to be meaningful,
Sure.
in order for our choices to make a difference. And then the chap who was asking, how do you get an answer from God? So God is with us all the time. God, there's nowhere else for God to be, because there is no time and space in God. Right? And so God created us in their likeness and image out of love, and we're their child. And so, of course, they will help us in every way that we allow them to be real and to be available to us. So sitting in the silence is one. And then step two is gratitude and blessing. I bless my food. I bless my home. I bless my work. I bless my health, my body. I bless my friends and family. Bless, bless, bless. I bless my enemies and those that would seek to destroy me. Bless, bless, bless. Put out this vibration of love and healing, so that you're not just, obsessing about every little conspiracy that's on the internet every 5 minutes.
Yeah. David had a question. Beautiful, Lou Martin.
Thank you. I thought it was good.
Go ahead, David.
There. So yeah, that was so funny. I was like answering your question, Karen. Does anyone have a question? And I posted yes, and I went back, and I'm like, oh my God. So, how are you? How are you, Lou?
Good, David. Thanks for being here.
Yes. So I'm interested in connecting with you at some point and possibly doing an interview. And a lot of your words are very inspiring. And I have heard of Patricia Hucolo and really like the stuff that I've heard from her. Yeah.
Great. Yeah, check her out. She's amazing.
Yeah. So no, just wanted to connect with you and just know that I'm interested in connecting and maybe doing interview or
great. Okay.
Having an interview.
Yeah. Good. Look forward to it. Just reach out anytime. We'll do it.
All right, brother.
Thanks, man. God bless.
Peace.
Okay.
Okay, thank you. Did you have a question? Did David not have a question? Was just he wanted to say when to connect?
Yeah, he just wanted to reach out and say hi.
Okay, no problem. There's a question from the chat that says, this is a good one. Have you noticed that in the spiritual community, certain spiritual leaders are falling down from their pedestals. And what do you think about this?
Me?
Well, you, us. I think he said you guys, so I guess us.
Guys? Sure.
Hey, you guys,
Um,
electric company. Go ahead.
hey. Yeah, well, not a problem in my movie, you know. I mean, I really feel honestly so very blessed that the teachers that I've been led to connect with overwhelmingly have been trustworthy and just amazing. I mean, my after my little awakening, I immediately connected with spirit guides, Lazarus, Dr. Peebles, Abraham, Oren, my guides, etc. And there's just such love and integrity there that there's no doubt about what the veracity of what they've been putting in my heart and in my head for 35 years. So, I mean, other people. I have a friend in Germany who Annabelle, who's been speaking up about being in a spiritual community that was a cult and being sexually abused and these kinds of things. And I think this is that time when all that has been hidden will be revealed. And because again, it's like the synchronicities and seeing the 555 and all these kinds of things. Today I woke up and I looked at the clock. It was 8:08. Next time I looked at it, it was 9:09. And my number of followers today on my page was 1776. And I'm going, well, this is an interesting little, bit of synchronicity here. So again, I just feel like you're saying, hon, the more we live from the inside out, with a sense that we're loved, safe, and supported, and our life is designed and intended to be joyous and meaningful, and we can help each other learn how to do that, the easier things flow. And, as we said, if we don't get seduced and we don't get distracted and we don't get stuck in fear and judgment, it is going to get clearer and clearer. So I just feel we're living in that time when people are breaking free of these old belief systems.
I think when it comes to teachers, everyone is flawed. And there are a lot of very flawed teachers that give sometimes very good information. And then there's a lot of, so I think that when people fall off their pedestal, well, the question is who put them up there? Who put them up there? And we always have to measure it. But, you have a lot of things happening in the yoga community with like Yogi Bhajan and that kind of thing. And there was sexual abuse and all kinds of abuse. And then there's people who went to them who completely had their lives changed in a very positive way. And there's a big dilemma on how do I take this information that I know was good and at the same time know that it's coming from a very flawed person. Well, nobody's perfect. And until you become a fully realized human, which most of us aren't and may never be, there's going to be something that's flawed. But it's the idea of when you see the flaw, you know how to walk away. And we do not put people so high on a pedestal that they need to fall down. I do a lot of stuff at an ashram, and there's a lot of very messed up people living in ashrams, but they don't come there because they're perfect. They come there because they're trying to change their lives. And there's a lot of them that you would say definitely are on some very interesting paths. But, we cannot put people on such a high pedestal and then blame them for what they're doing. I mean, I don't want to know. We have to blame them for what they're doing. We have to say, you cannot do this, but at the same time, maybe not put them up so high. Remember their humanity, and then judge the message. But the message, especially, a lot of messages are not instantly negated because the person who gave it is flawed. I think that that's the case. I don't think we can just throw out everything because we're saying that everyone has to be perfect, and nobody's perfect. I think the expectation that people are perfect is really wrong. When you talk about abuse within the Catholic Church, that's a whole other kind of level, you know. But
Sure.
but when you talk about spiritual people, like, I mean, how many spiritual leaders are preaching the Bible and then going to prostitutes and then getting caught, or cheating on their wives, or doing these things? Well, the information they're sharing is not flawed, but they're flawed for sure. And it's also, you know, their job at that moment to either change or get off the pedestal.
Yeah. No, that's right. I just want to add that, you know, this is the difference between working with spirit versus working with people. And
Yes.
like our God says, how do you get an answer from God? And like we're saying there, you know, first you got to know that God is real. Then you have to know that God cares about you and loves you. And then you have to know that you can receive the answer to what you're asking. And then you have to be in that vibration of acting as if this is going to be answered. There is an answer to this. Thank you, God, for your love and your guidance and your wisdom. So whatever, you know, I feel that Dolores Cannon and Patricia and many others are talking about this. The difference between the 3D duality of the old world that we're coming to an end with, I believe, in this decade, versus the 5D new earth, etc., is there's no fear and there's no karma in the 5D. And how we get from here to there is we need to look to our guides and to spirit rather than just to each other.
Mm-hmm. Someone just said Jonah has a question, but let me do this one first because it's relevant. It says, well, let me read a couple comments. Remnock says, I like many spiritual teachers and channelers, but only one person I would consider a spiritual leader, and that is Matthias DeStefano. Okay. All right. Thank you for that. The person who asked the question said, is it possible for the infinite to guide us without human help?
That's an interesting question. Well, since we're all human and we all need help, I don't know why you would want to be guided without human help.
Well, it's the idea, I guess, of just, you know, people say, well, I don't want to look at a spiritual teacher.
Yes.
Inside.
Yes.
But
yes, I believe it is.
Yeah. The thing is that we don't turn the spiritual leader into God. That's the problem. Or we don't turn them into the ultimate authority.
Right.
I'll give you a very good example. I used to listen to Abraham Hicks for many years. I listened to him for about 3 years solid, you know, and maybe even longer. I'm not sure, but a good chunk. And there were some things that she said that I didn't agree with. And I remember being in a chat and saying, I don't agree with this. And they were like, well, why are you here? You know, I'm like, well, they're like, well, she's channeling God. I'm like, well, I'm talking to God too. You know, and so it's this thing of like, if you are so unopen to anybody else's idea, or if you think that person is the ultimate authority and they should never be questioned what they say, if you starting to get to a situation where it's only this way, this is the only thing, then I think that's getting culty. And some of her little members are getting very culty because she's the ultimate authority. And how dare you question that? And that's when you start to go, no.
Yeah. Of course, Abraham would never say that.
No, Abraham wouldn't say that, but people, it's people.
Sure. Well, there's the difference.
Put you on pedestals. That's what I was saying earlier. Don't put people on a pedestal. Take what they say. Does it resonate with me? And the thing is that things can resonate with you for one moment, but not at another. And that has to do with how you're growing and changing, because there are truths that are true relative to where you are, you know, and there's truths that are because you can't, it's like if your ability to only see is this way, then only the things that are true and here are going to make sense to you. But all of a sudden, if you're able to see this, then this truth becomes less true. It's just like saying, it's like gravity is true on Earth, but when you get out of the Earth's atmosphere, the gravity doesn't have the same effect. Is gravity now not true? No, gravity is still there.
Right.
But the perspective of where you are in it has changed. Gravity is still there.
Right.
You're not subject to the laws of the same, you're not subject in the same way to the laws of gravity, depending on your perspective. But when you're on the earth and on the ground, if you drop it, it's going to fall down.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
good.
Yeah. Wait 1 second. Joan has a question. Let's get back to that. Is there any oneness if one of us is setting boundaries? What? Joan, ask that with your voice. What? Unmute and ask that question. Joan, are you there? Joan, maybe she can. She says, is there any oneness if one of us is setting a boundary?
Yeah, I get it. Well, again, it's like you're just to build on what you just said. Abraham is not saying that you have to agree with everything they say in order to listen to what they're offering. But the fanatics that are following Abraham, who get hostile because you disagree with them in the chat room, that's their human stuff coming up, and that is the difference. So oneness and boundaries is, again, like you just touched on, truth. My guides say there's capital T truth, which is the same today, tomorrow, and forever. And that is the essence and core of our spiritual nature. And then there is the small t truth that you talked about, which is everything is subjective and relative in relationship to how much we trust and honor the capital T truth, or we don't. Again, that's our free will. Okay, so boundaries, balance comes through boundaries, and boundaries is about balance. So it's what my guides call the heart of the paradox. In order to know and embrace our oneness, like we're all reaching for here today, which is a joy, we need to have our sense of our own values and our own discernment and our own truth and all these ideas in order to find a common ground to come together and see a bigger picture. If we are all giving our power away or expecting some master to free us and think for us, then we've lost that divine balance, which is essential. There has to be our own responsibility, number one, and then a willingness to learn from other people and other situations from that place. If we give our responsibility away, we're going to suffer. If we refuse to take responsibility, we're going to suffer.
Right. Red Remnock in the YouTube chat made a good point. He said that the one good mark of someone who's sharing spiritual information is that they first declare that each person listening should use their own discernment and take only the info that resonates with them.
Amen.
Yeah.
Very
true. Very true.
Yes.
Yeah.
Lazarus calls us masters of complication. Exactly.
We are. We're definitely.
Yeah, because we get so attached to these ideas, and then, like we're saying here about a healing crisis, let's say, of the last couple of years, it's figuring things out and who to trust and the science and the statistics and the this, the that, what's the proof, where's my safety, etc. Well, at the end of the day, of course, you've got to come back to yourself, thank God, and you got to come back to your own loving and caring heart. And you say, I trust this, or I don't trust that. And you see what that brings you. So that's where the answers will always be. It's just like we're saying, can we quiet the mind, open the heart, awaken the spirit, and then move forward from a place of inspiration and empowerment and enthusiasm, rather than I'm afraid of the world or I'm overwhelmed by all this information and all these people shouting in my face.
Yes.
Thank you.
Someone asked a question about inspiration. I want to read
Sure.
it in a second.
Oh, that's
Um,
my thing. That's my favorite thing.
inspiration.
Oh God.
Oh God.
Yes, absolutely.
All right.
100%. That's me. To give and receive inspiration. That's my soul's
Oh,
purpose.
okay. Joan, was your question answered? Did she hear that? Now she's back.
Joan,
Joan.
balance, boundaries, oneness.
Okay, yes. Did you have any comments on that, Joan? I don't know if she has a mic or not. Oh. Okay, she says thank you.
You're welcome.
Someone in the chat says, is inspiration our heart or God speaking to us?
What's the difference? Yes,
So
all the
yes.
above. Yes. Your God speaks to us through our heart, through love. And to be inspired is to be filled with love and to be filled with God. That would be my definition.
Yeah. Awesome.
And that's what you want. That's what you want, to find that I'm full of God, I'm full of love, I'm full of inspiration. And then be able to change your mind, see it differently, let it go.
Yes.
Fill up, empty out, fill up again.
Fill up, empty out, fill up again. Is that what you said?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Great. All right.
You're a delight, sweetheart. Bless you.
Well, I didn't know if I heard you right.
No, I'm just appreciating
I was reading the question and I was trying to hear you. And it's kind of like the information crosses.
Yep. Just full of appreciation here.
Let's see. I think that's Bridget wanted to ask or wanted to make another comment if you want to, Bridget.
Yeah.
Keep it short.
Well, I'm not sure if that can be short, because in one of my meditations I came to the abused children, and there's all this scandals about.
We're not going to talk about that on this channel.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you.
But what I want, without mentioning the topic, there are things that we must not close our eyes off from, because they are happening. And I went into my personal life and things got in a different perspective. So really we need to integrate the things that we don't want to see.
Of course.
Yeah.
That's dealing with the shadow. That's a very important part of
very, very important shadow.
Yeah.
I mean, you're right. The children, of the world need the conscious adults, I think, now more than ever before. And it is very challenging. So we want to ask God and the universe and other conscious people to help us find a way to help the children stay safe, because they're not safe right now in general terms in many ways, sadly.
I see that as a very big task of mine to bring light on that matter.
Yeah, bless you.
Thank you.
You're welcome, honey. Thank you.
Welcome.
Yeah.
So I think in the last few minutes, if you would want to lead us in like a very beautiful prayer.
You bet.
Empowerment, grounding, connecting.
Sure. A little prayer, channel message for closing.
That would be a perfect way to end this.
Thank you.
This wonderful interaction.
Thank you, dear. A pleasure. Bless your heart. Right. Great. And thanks everyone for listening and being here and such great questions.
Thanks to everyone in the YouTube chat too. Our little YouTuber people over there.
Groovy. So go ahead and close your eyes, turn within, and take a deep breath. Right. All right. God bless you, dear friends. Here we go one more time. Imagine 7 stars spiral down through time and space, touching the crown. Take a deep breath. And down we go, crown, third eye, throat, and heart. Take another deep breath. Relax and release. Relax and release. Relax and release. One more breath. Down the will center, through the tummy, the sacral, the root, flowing down hips, legs, feet, down into Mother Earth, putting down your roots. Down, down, down. Take a deep breath. Relax and release. Dear friends, so the love and light of all that is as you surrounds and supports you, blesses and prospers you, heals and guides you, and speaks to the deepest and the most profound happiness, joy, and freedom that exists within your heart of hearts. Take a breath. So, dear ones, you are the consciousness of the future of humanity and Mother Earth coming together as equals with gifts to give and receive. And dear ones, you are the visionaries, the way showers, the inspiration and the embodiment of humanity's spiritual nature and human nature coming together as equals. Take a deep breath. The divine feminine of the emotions and the spirit, the divine masculine of the body and the will, coming together in the divine marriage of equality, harmony, balance, happiness, joy, freedom, and love. Take a deep breath. So, dear ones, just extend your hands, your heart, your head to the world and bless this moment and bless humanity wherever and whoever comes into your mind's eye, into your imagination. Take a deep breath. You might see the violet light of the future of this planet shining forth and pouring forth a blessing to the four races, the four directions, the elements, and dear friends, to opening the doorway to spirit, to the angels and archangels, to the devas and deva rajas, and to your guides, guardians, teachers, and friends who are here with you, within you, and for you at all times, inviting you, dear friends, to celebrate the gift of life this very moment, this very day. Dear friends, you are a blessing to yourself, to your loved ones, and your world as you listen to, follow, and express the truth, dear friends, as you understand it. You needn't debate or discuss, dear friends, the truth that we're speaking of here. We simply ask you to own it in your heart of hearts and to embody it and to embrace it. And let that truth, that you are safe, loved, and supported, and all is well for you and your world, that truth, let that truth set you free. Take a deep breath. And dear friends, coming round the globe and back into this time and space, blessing your mind, body, and spirit, your work and your home, your friends and family, your clients, students, colleagues, and everyone in your community, your country, and again, the whole wide world. Humanity is awakening, dear friends, and you are a step ahead, a step behind of millions of others on this path of awakening, healing, and growth, who are listening, trusting, and honoring the message of love and peace that is shining in your heart. Take a deep breath. Dear friends, blessing Mother Earth and Father Sky, blessing the earth, air, fire, waters, blessing the elementals and all the creatures and creations of this world, and all the spirits and the spirit guides of this world. And know, once again, you are a bridge between heaven and earth, dear friends. You are a bridge between what has been and what is yet to be. Dream your dream, live your truth, shine your light, share your love, and give thanks, for truly, dear friends, a new day has begun. We love you so. Peace and blessings. Namaste.
Namaste. Beautiful.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much. So please tell everyone how they can reach out to you, where your podcast is. You do private sessions all of the things that you do that people can reach out to you.
Thank you, Karen. So yeah, the easiest, my homepage really is my Facebook page, which is Lou Martin, LOUMARTIN. And I do that live program Monday through Thursday mornings at 9 a.m. Ireland time. And that's there, as I say. I have a YouTube channel called Awakened Spirits with almost 200 interviews on it. Karen is on there a couple times, I think. And I have those are one time. Oh, okay. We'll have to work on that. And I'm starting just now this week my podcast through Anchor onto Spotify, which is also Awakened Spirits Network. And my email is lightheart2018@gmail.com. And thanks, everyone. It's been a joy and a pleasure. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Yeah. Lovely. Lovely. You know what that was from?
No.
Oh. It was
Tell
from
me. A musical?
It was from a musical. It was from My Fair Lady.
Oh, there you go. Okay. Can you sing a little more of it?
All I want is
One is a
somewhere
room somewhere
far
far
away.
away from the cold night air. In one enormous chair, I would.
And it be lovely. Hey, we
It'd
were
be
synced.
lovely.
Isn't that interesting?
What?
We were synced.
Yeah. Good.
Is that something new?
Sure. Do you want me to finish with one of my
Yeah,
songs?
please do. Yes.
Okay.
Finish.
All right.
Finish with one of your beautiful songs.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Isn't that weird? I mean, I don't know if people listening, did we sound like we were singing together?
Yes.
Or was it?
I think we were. How about that?
Isn't that
Yes,
interesting?
it sounded like you were singing together.
That's
Yes.
new. That's internet new.
There you go. All right. So let me just
Okay.
bring my mic a little closer here.
Yeah. I think that's something, because normally if one person sings, then it's off, you know? But if you can sing together, that's pretty fantastic.
Wee!
I'll accompany you on my ukulele.
Oh, do
No.
please.
I'm not going to accompany you until I'm sure things would sync up. I'm not going to ruin your song.
You would ruin nothing. Thank you.
I'd make it challenging to listen. Let's talk about it like that.
All right, here we go. So this
Okay.
is my song, I Believe in You.
Okay.
Does that sound all right?
That's great.
Okay, here we go. Don't let anyone ever tell you no, or that your dream can't come true. You will reap every seed you sow. I believe in you. Don't let anyone ever break your heart, make you feel sad and blue. You are here to play your part. I believe in you. There's a light and it's burning bright. I've watched it blaze the whole night through, like a star that shines so far. How I believe in you. Don't let anyone ever shake your faith. Everybody's searching for a clue. You have got some I believe in you. There's a path through forest deep where the messenger gets through. Every gift you give is all I keep. How could I not believe in you? Don't let anyone ever slow you down. In the end, that's all you can do. This world can turn your head around. I believe in you. I believe in you.
Gorgeous.
Thank you.
Very, very beautiful.